1 second. Yep. Okay. Yep. I think we got it. Sorry. We will start that again. Hope you're all having a great Saturday, everyone. Welcome back to another Deadline stream on the channel. Great to have you here. It's a bright and sunny Saturday where I am. Yeah, I think audio is fixed. Hope you're all having a wonderful Saturday. Lots to get through. Excuse the croaky voice. I've had friends in town, so I set the alarm about 15 minutes before the Deadline stream, and I knew this wasn't going to happen. So yeah, catching up on all things free practice. And yeah, I think it's going to be a good hour and 45 minutes. How is everyone? Lots of you in the chat. Jack, Ali, Michael, Peter, the usual, Zavi, Doug, Simon, Jim. Yeah, lots to get through in the live chat. I did see a few things come through just before, and I do have every intention of getting to every single one of your questions once again. Just want to make sure. Oh my God, I always do this. I always make this mistake. Announce the stream on my Twitter page, and then I forget to change the name of the actual race. I am catching up on all things F1 fantasy at the moment in terms of penalties, updates to the grid. I only saw, yeah, I know Nixie, I know Live for the Imola GP, I know. And yeah, I can see there's a bit of news on signs. So that might put Williams off the table just a little bit. But I am still undecided on Limitless. And I know it looks good, but bloody hell, Monaco is risky. So I am going to just quickly go through free practice times. As always, I missed free practice, overslept, as I usually do on a Saturday, even with the Deadline stream. So apologies once again. Then we'll look at the fantasy tool sims, and I really need to decide if I go Limitless, because if you've looked at the F1 Fantasy Tools Sims, and if you use their website, Hub 50 for 50% off your first month with access to their premium tools and features, need to decide if this is the right weekend for my team for Limitless. Yeah, so much risk. We'll talk about Limitless in all about 5-10 minutes. So I know there's some questions. I know Matthias, you're trying to pick my brains on that. I'm not sure. Like, obviously I saw the highlights on Hamilton crashing in FP3, but I will be completely honest, have not seen the like the highlights or anything like that, or even how the crash came about. But it's not enough right now to dissuade me from going. But I think it's more of the budget drivers. Like, I'm sure one of these three guys on screen here, plus a Behrman or a Lawson or a Antonelli even, as part of the Mercedes constructor, does make me worried a little bit. So let's have a look at free practice times. I haven't even got this open as a tab in my browser, so you guys will have to be going through the manual exercise of finding that with me on screen here for Monaco. Results. Let's start with FP1. But yeah, I saw a bit of FP1, saw a little bit of FP2, but not much, and then missed FP3 entirely, just because it is quite early here, 8 a.m. where I am. So yeah, we'll go through free practice, and then I'll get to all your questions. I know there's quite a few around Williams, Ocon, Mercedes, whether or not Sainz is worth it, Triple Williams. But yeah, again, hi to everyone in the chat. Paul, Matt, Anne, Matthias, Keegan, Claudio. We will, go through free practice. So yeah, Leclerc topped all three free practice sessions. 10th up on Max. McLaren very much in the mix, both in the top 5. Williams, I think, was really impressive. And I think Albon and Sainz after FP1, a lot of people were like, is Williams the play? But it's very much opened the door for, if you looked at my final thoughts video I went through about 4 or 5 different team combinations, and I do think it's extremely open this week. So the midfield, anything below about 9th or 10th, it's just hard to get a read on how the back markers and midfield drivers are going to go, because anyone could qualify between 11th and 20th. Hulkenberg, great qualifier, but could still end up last in that tractor. Someone like Tsunoda could, like in free practice 1, didn't look so great, but could in that Red Bull be a little bit further up. Moving on to FP2, second session of yesterday, again, Leclerc topping all 3 free practice sessions. I think we need Ferrari in our teams, regardless of whether or not it's the constructor or Leclerc. I'd say the constructor more so for non-limitless teams. And if you're going down limitless, probably a triple up, as you can see here on screen. I've got my suggested limitless lineup bottom left. For anyone asking about it, is it a definite yes? I don't think so, but I think it's very much worth considering. We'll get to the sims in a second. So yeah, McLaren again, top 2 in the top 4. Ferrari 2 of the top 3 slots. Piastri and Leclerc less than a tenth separating them. So I think Piastri has to be, if you're non-limitless this weekend, he has to be a 2x without a doubt. Keep that final fix handy for those that have already used limitless or don't want to use it. Because I think Leclerc, Piastri are great alternate swaps. If for instance, Piastri screws it in qualifying, then you've got Charles Leclerc at a pretty similar price. I think at this point, I wouldn't be putting aside 6 million for Norris or Verstappen. It just doesn't make any sense when you've got Charles Leclerc looking so good over a single lap. And then FP3, Leclerc again topped the free practice session most recently today. Interesting to note that the driver that has topped free practice 3 for the last 4 races has gone on to win the Monaco Grand Prix. So the fact he was up 2/10 on Max, he just knows this track so well. He's born to race at Monaco, and obviously he was born in Monaco. But I do think Charles is the man to beat. And I think for that reason, you've got to have some Ferrari coverage this weekend. So yeah, McLaren again, I wouldn't be moving away from Piastri if you're not in limitless. I wouldn't be changing the McLaren constructor. I think the Ferrari constructor is probably for me the most obvious transfer for a lot of people. So I'm going to head over to the team calculator, because this is where I want to spend most of my time this video. I'll get to some questions as well. I know we're 22 minutes in, or technically 7 minutes in, but I'm going to race through about 50 questions that you guys have obviously booked in the chat here. Try and answer as many as possible. Xavi, if not Ham, then who else? I think Ham is perfectly fine. The DNF doesn't really dissuade me too much. Triple Ferrari, triple McLaren and Verstappen for limitless. I think eyes on Hamilton's car rebuild, because obviously if it's not ready for qualifying, then I wouldn't be putting Hamilton in on limitless. I think if Hamilton wasn't even in qualifying and starts at the back, I wouldn't be going down limitless. But we'll have to wait and see. Tsunoda is definitely a gamble. Sainz, Mike, thanks for the update. 10-place grid penalty, eyes on that. I'm not really sure what the news is on that yet, but we'll have to see. Hang on, is that a notification from F1? No, that's not related to Sainz. I think if there's a Sainz grid penalty, that takes him and the Williams constructor out of the equation this weekend. So let's have a think about that once we have a bit more news from the FIA and the stewards on that. Should be a wild one, and I think, lots to get through. We've got 500 of you watching, only 26 likes, so bump those numbers up. These are rookie numbers. You got to get those numbers up if you know that reference. You enjoy good cinema. Sign summon for FP2. Yeah, I'm really not sure what the deal is with that. Tsunoda and Williams, or Mercedes and Gasly. Anne asks, I think, what about Ferrari and someone? Ferrari and Hulkenberg, maybe, Anne? I wouldn't mind that. And I think very much need to consider dropping... really have to think about dropping Mercedes this week, even for a -10 for Ferrari. Because look at the delta, 3.8 between them and McLaren. Ryder might have a post FP3 sim, which takes into account Hamilton's crash. But at this point in time, I would be very much considering -10s for Ferrari. Is triple Williams transfer? I wouldn't be tripling up on Williams this week, I don't think. It's a lot of exposure to a team that's not as good as McLaren or even Ferrari around this track. I think having the constructor is fine for budget gain, but I wouldn't be going Albon, Sainz and the Williams constructor. Matt I don't think considering Limitless is risky or crazy idea this weekend. What do I think of of Limitless with McLaren Mercedes? I wouldn't Limitless. Oh right, Ivan is asked, what do you think about Limitless with McLaren Mercedes, Piastri, Albon, Colapinto, Bortoleto, Hadjar as my actual team? Yeah, I've got that team. I'm thinking about it, so I think it's fine. Piastri, I think the Piastri versus Leclerc argument. I don't think if you're not on Limitless, I don't think you need to get Leclerc into your team because he's going to drop in value unless he wins the race. I don't think that's a guarantee. It's a high chance, but I don't think it's guaranteed. So for that reason, if you really want Leclerc and Piastri, it doesn't look great in qualifying, then you final fix Leclerc in. What about RB as constructor instead of Mercedes? I'd honestly see if you can just find Simon the extra money to get Ferrari in. Like Red Bull's been pretty mixed. They're like similar to Mercedes in terms of performance around this track. So yeah, we will have to see. Spurs UEL champions. Yes. Get up, Tottenham. Come on, you Spurs. What a game that was. We will have a look at the weather in just a bit, but I do want to spend more time on the team calculator. And I think let's start with, I will filter out all the drivers that wouldn't be template picks or are likely to go down a pretty significant chunk in value this week. So Haas drivers, I mean, let's leave Alonso in there, even though he's likely to go down quite a bit. And let's see how Hadjar's a 50-50, I think. I think you keep, or Hadjar, yeah. He'll be better around Spain. I'm worried he may even drop 0.6 though. So, yeah, we will see. I'm going to force include Oscar Piastri for my team one. Why do I say that? Just because, again, I've talked about if you've got Oscar on a non-limitless team, you keep him. I don't think he'll get pole, but he's a transfer back into your team next weekend. So I think Leclerc is viable on final fix, or if you've got limitless, or you've got Ferrari constructor coverage too. Do you think Red Bull Mercedes is a good idea this weekend? Probably not. I wouldn't bet against McLaren. Without Limitless, what would you do to your team? Simon, my proposed Limitless transfers are in the middle box under the screen. Do you think no negative is an option? I think it is, but I'd have it below Final Fix and Limitless this weekend. I think you're better off saving no negative for a sprint, a wet race, or something where there's clearly a degree of risk. I think there'll be no negative, but a better chance for no negative later in the season. Still not a major trophy. All right. Yeah. All right. With McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri, Albon, Hadjar, Bortoleto, Colapinto from Imola, I think it's fine. If you've got my team, which is this team here, if you had close to this team or identically this team, then I think this is fine for Limitless. Yes, Hadjar will probably drop. Mercedes will probably drop. But what can you do, right? Mercedes may only go up 0.1. But we'll see. So kind of the limitless versus non-limitless debate comes down to two things. The risk, obviously, we saw Hamilton crash in FP3. Is that enough to disincentivize me from going down that path? Second of all, is there enough of a differential? I think it absolutely is for this weekend. And also a third point is what's the delta between a limitless and a non-limitless team? So my likely team this weekend, I'm going to take Alonso out for this calculation, I think, just because I don't want him to muddle the numbers. So this number one team, which is kind of what I had in mind before the Sims came out, is the highest projected point scoring team for non-limitless. I know you did. And so budget is not great this weekend. 0.78 to gain 179 points. This is almost certainly going to be my team this week if I didn't go limitless. Almost certainly. And I think Sainz may not be great around here, but he will be very well positioned to go up in Spain because this on Budget Builder, this 0-pointer from Carlos Sainz will drop off his average, this Miami score. So he'll have 12, whatever he scores in Monaco. And assuming what he scores in Monaco is somewhere between 10 and 15 points, that threshold will be a lot lower. So I think Sainz will be popular next week. I'm trying to get ahead of a transfer. Yes, I may have to just accept a $0.2 million price drop, but I think at the same time, Sainz is in Williams, qualifies very well. There's just a lot of things to be positive about for Carlos Sainz. So I think it's trying to be strategic with my transfers because I will have only 2 next week. So getting on the front foot there, I think is kind of my mindset. I do need to think about Limitless though, because there's just a lot to consider. So going back to my team, 179 points, 0.8 to gain. If I went down the Limitless chip, so you can, on the settings here, you can, please don't reset. On the settings tab here on the dashboard, you can choose a chip that will generate what you think will score the most points. So we had 179, and the optimal Limitless team is, hang on, 179. Yeah, that's about 100. 179 is probably, about what I'd expect to score on my non-Limitless team. The delta for Limitless with Charles as a 2x is 275. So it's about 100 points for just under 100 points for, exactly, Alberto correctly pointed out. Delta is about 100 points for Limitless versus non-Limitless. 100 is a pretty significant chunk of points. And I think it's very, very convincing for me to want to go down that path. There's just a lot of upside, and it's more because even though the non-Limitless team isn't going to score that much, it's all about the delta on Limitless. It's not about how many points you can score. It's all about the delta. Yes, you're going to score 400 odd points on a sprint weekend, but if you score 400 and your non-Limitless team scores 350, then that's only 50 points. But if you can gain 100 on the rest of the field in Monaco, that's where the value really is for the chip. So, I do need to think about this more. I wouldn't be taking Will a -10 to get to my proposed team, my proposed non-Limitless team. All good, Simon. But yeah, I don't know. It's a tricky one. I mean, every time Michael's saying, every time we go for Limitless, there's always going to be some budget problem for the underlying team. This week isn't that bad. I agree, Michael. I mean, we've talked about it a little bit already, but even with Sainz, again, Sainz is kind of pre-planning. I don't really have a problem with it, to be honest. So it's kind of like I don't think there'll be any weekend where you can perfect the price rises for all 7 of your assets. You might have 5 or 6, and I think 5 is fine, 6 is great, and 7 is perfect. And that's why, given I've got 5 assets that'll likely go up in price or not change in price, I've carried Colapinto and Bortoleto for the sole purpose of having them when I use Limitless. I almost feel like the last couple of weeks could have been more strategic with gaining value for my team if I knew I wasn't going to be using Limitless soon. So I've kind of plan to use it in the next few weeks. If I was to wait until Spa or Hungary, this is 6 races away. I'm like, again, at that point, like, what's the point of carrying 2 budget drivers at 4.5 million? So I feel as though the more I talk about it, and I haven't really talked it out with anyone because none of my friends where I live are they don't play F1 fantasy except for a couple of them. So it's just a lot to think about. Aside from the delta, exactly, Michael, exactly. I think as well, it's going to be super risky for budget drivers. It's like, as Porsche F1 said, it's a budget driver, no negative. Even if one top driver DNF'd, like fingers crossed that doesn't happen. But even if one of those drivers DNF'd, that's still like an 80-point delta. That's still solid. I think you almost have if we're going off the 100-point delta for a limitless to non-limitless, you have a bit of buffer to, God forbid a DNF on your limitless happens, but even if it did, it would just mean there's still enough buffer between the rest of the limitless versus non-limitless teams. So the delta for people in Miami, sure, was, great question. I think it was about 70 points. Hey, Tom, Pop Pound Man F1 in the chat. Thank you for dropping by, man. Congrats on the Crystal Palace win as well. Big week for our Premier League teams. FA Cup looked like a blast. I agree, mate. Can't get limitless out of my head. I went to bed on it at 1 a.m. A couple of drinks, I will say, going through the simulations, but I was trying very hard to discount the idea of it. But the more I think about it, the more I'm probably moving towards it. An hour and a half until the deadline, lots to think about. But yeah, if anyone knows Pop Man F1, fellow F1 content creator, fantasy content creator, I've had him on the channel. So as Michael's pointed out, the godfather of F1, show Tom's channel some love. But yeah, we got 700 of you in the chat, 100 likes on the video. Again, please show some love to the channel, guys. But yeah, great turnout today. I wish I'd come on the stream a little earlier because rain got the upper hand starting a bit earlier, but that's all in good fun. Hang on a sec. Dan, are you in the chat? I missed. Oh my god, I've missed a few. Daniel Gross. Oh, Dano. Sorry, mate. I didn't know you were in the. Dano, I didn't know you were in the chat, mate. Saturday night in Australia. Ferrari look quick, but do we trust them with the two-stop strategy? Mate, just don't do what I do and it'll be the right decision. Who else have I... Who else do I need to get around to? What was it, Delta? I think I answered that one. Yuki or Pierre. Sorry, Ali, if you have 3 transfers activate limitless, you only have 2 carried into Spain. Is this... Yeah, it's pretty perfect for limitless, Gary. It's pretty perfect. Who would you have 2x on a limitless team? Leclerc. Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you go Leclerc? I'm even wearing the shirt. That's his helmet. That's his 2024 helmet. Ewan, also in the chat, checking in from Malaga. Need a sangria or 2 to push me over the limitless edge. Well then, mate, have 2. Have 2. 3x on Leclerc? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. Just the 2x. Predicts? We'll do F1 predicts in a little bit, Gorka. I like to talk about my simulations a bit more. Daniel Gross, hey, are you by any chance an archaeologist? That's pretty funny. What about no negative? I'd save it. We have twice Rain's numbers here. Yeah, but I don't read into the numbers too much. I just love the community's growing so much, Michael. I'm sure you can attest to that too. It's been pretty exciting to see the F1 fantasy community explode over the last couple of years. Any word on Hamilton being fully repaired for qualifying? I don't know. Twitter has been playing around. Oh no, I can't seem to get my notifications, messages, etc. loaded lately, but I'm trying to get, let's see, Medland, if it's going to load, he's usually good for an update. Twitter is down for me again, so I'm not going to know. I'm going in blind here a little bit. Okay, so haven't really got any... Why dump Albon for Gasly? Because it would just mean I can afford signs as well. Modest Cowboy. For me personally, it's a... yeah, if you kind of rewind about 10 to 15 minutes, it's more pre-planning those ultimate transfers I'd have to make in Spain anyway. Thanks, Ewan. Appreciate the love. All right, quick questions. Again, limitless or normal team? I was 40-60 limitless, non-limitless. When I went to bed, I was 50-50. Now I'm about 70-30. I'm not Ryder, no. Did anyone crash in FP3? Omid, yes. Hamilton crashed. I've got wildcard too. So if I have if I need to completely switch up my team in Spain, I'll just plug plug wildcard as well. Loomis is screaming at me to do it. I think I might do it. I'm thinking I might. That's kind of a crazy thing to be saying, but Hamilton's car looks ready for qualifying. We love to see it. Everyone's Twitter's down. Isn't it funny when Instagram goes down, you go to Twitter. When Twitter goes down, you come to the Formula Fantasy Hub YouTube channel. I don't think Williams. I think one Williams asset. Oh, maybe Williams. Maybe Williams if you're non-limitless. But I think Ferrari. It feels like daylight between the two of them. Does the potential Sainz penalty from the steward change your stance on him? Yeah, a little bit. I think if he was given a grid penalty, then Sainz is completely off the table. Absolutely. Yeah, you're right. Twitter's been absolute garbage this week. Let's have a look at the weather because Ali was asking about it in the chat. What would have made you definitely run limitless? Having Williams? Yeah. No, I think it's more Ferrari. The fact that weather MONACO. It's more the fact that Ferrari is such a differential this weekend. They look so good. And let's go AccuWeather. I always seem to like that one the most. I think it's just Ferrari, such a differential this week. And given they are such off template right now, it's silly not to. It feels silly not to. George or Lewis? Probably Lewis. Between the two. Emily's asking thoughts on their negative this weekend. I think there's an argument for it. Again, I just feel as though you want to have final fix available at a track like Monaco. Hamilton over Russell? Currently, yes. I'd go Hamilton over Russell. Quite a few questions on that. Limitless or normal team? Limitless. Oh, yeah, George, yeah, of course. Having Williams instead of Mercedes? I'd probably go Williams. I don't know. I think the thing I'm a bit unsure about, if we go back to, let's go through the weather, and then, George, I'll get to your question in just a second around Williams versus Mercedes for this weekend. So, chance of rain, 40%. Afternoon. Actually, we probably need the radar, don't we? Do they have a radar? Monaco radar. Weather. Yeah, a final fix is one of the biggest reservations for going limitless, because if your 2X bins it, if Piastri bins it, or whoever your 2X driver is, on limitless, Leclerc, for example, God forbid he puts it in the wall, he starts at the back, limitless is pretty much cooked, because Ferrari will be starting at the back, so the constructor's in the mud, you won't be able to get as many overtake points. Throw in the fact that your 2 times point multiplier will also be blocked off, so most people who aren't on limitless can get to whoever the replacement driver is. But yeah, it's a bit of a tricky one. So that's my reservation. So this Monaco's down here. So can we? So what is it? 240 now in the UK. Oh, so it's up here. Sorry. Yeah, it's around here, not down here. Or is it? I thought it was on the south. Hang on. Where's the French Riviera? This is clearly, I was almost certain it was down here. Am I wrong? Don't dare jinx him before quali. Of course not. Monaco's in the south. Like, I'm 99.9% sure of it. Is my geography? Yeah. I'm second guessing myself. I was like everyone stays in Nice when they go to Monaco for the race. So I was like, yeah, exactly. I'm losing my mind here. No. I was like, it's in the south. I know it is. Yeah, no, exactly. So this is the forecast. God, guys, I know. I'm losing my mind over my geography here. I went to school. I promise I went to school. So yeah, the forecast is clearly a little bit of rain, but not enough. So this looks like it's, UK time. Quali's at 3:00, if I recall correctly. What's it say on my phone? 10 o'clock Eastern. Yeah, wow, Chris, thanks. Roast me for my geography. Yes, I know Monaco's in the south. Yeah. So there's really not much on the radar that looks like to be coming over. I don't think the weather's any reason to... Yeah, I know, I'm losing my mind again on weather. If you tune in for... I don't drink coffee as well. Evan would be impressed. Oh, God, don't tell him if you know. I think the weather's not really much of a factor this weekend, to be honest. I wouldn't let it become something that, becomes clear to me there's like a no negative. I just keep Final Fix handy. That is my only suggestion if you're concerned about the weather. But Limitless is pretty compelling. Pretty compelling. So yeah, that's the great man Tom from, again, Pop Pan Man F1. FP3 sims are out. So let me refresh this bad boy. I'm getting absolutely flamed by some mates back home for not knowing where Nice is. But I was like, I'm 99% certain it's in the south of France. Near the south of France. So post FP3 sims are out. Limitless is saying, I plug in my team one. It's even higher. 281 now. Is that right? Because it was like 278 before, wasn't it? 275. Oh, mate, it's almost as if they want us to use Limitless with these simulations. It feels too obvious. Ferrari now, if you remember, ladies and gentlemen, Ferrari used to be 3 points lower than McLaren, and now it's 64 apiece. Like, come on. It seems too obvious. Ben asking if wildcard this stage is ever a good idea or save it. I think I wouldn't be wildcarding in Monaco. Put it that way. I think keep it for a weekend where you definitely think it becomes worthwhile. If there's a distinct shift in the template, let's say McLaren don't look good after the technical directive in Spain, could be worthwhile saving it for then. 860 views. Wow, chat is popping off. Chat is soaring today. Ladies and gentlemen, this could be a banger of a stream if it's not already. 159 likes. Wow. I feel loved. I mean, a stream obviously doesn't determine that, but it's feeling like a great stream. A lot of people in here engaging. Yeah, Ali, exactly right. 100 points. Feels like a no-brainer right now, don't you think? It feels way too obvious. I think a lot of people are very convinced by this. It's 130 points now. The delta is 130 points, not 120 points up on my non-limitless team. Why not? The delta did go up. The delta went up, Elliot, by about 10 points because it was two. If we go to FP2, I think it was 275, right? Yeah, so it's now 281. So the delta's increased 8 points. Thereabouts. Not Ver2X. I wouldn't be going max. I wouldn't be going down max. Yeah, I think it clears, Tom. Hey, I'm curious to know how many other content creators out there who haven't already used it are going down that route. Because I know Adam and Zach have used it. I think Terry's also used it. And I think he used it in Saudi Arabia. So he clutched big time there. I know Tom hasn't used it. I know Ewan hasn't used it. I know Rain probably won't use it. I'm curious to see if... I guess I don't have Rain stream open. But yeah, Fino's on the Limitless wave. Let's go, Fino. Australian licorice. Strawberry licorice for me. All right, let's do the first poll of the stream. I want to say black or red licorice, but I'm really going to go Limitless, yes or no. Are you using Limitless this weekend? No. Start poll. I'm going to hide that bad boy. Hi, Rob. Would you switch Bortoletto to Colapinto to Gasly for 10 points? No, I wouldn't. Where am I based? I'm based in New York, Derek. Thanks, Count Sealaw. Great. One of the greats. Limitless with 2x Leclerc. Yep, lock. Bottom left is my likely Limitless team. Best limitless team, bottom left. Best limitless team, team number 1 here. Any updates on Hamilton? I mean, if Twitter wanted to cooperate, I could tell you, but it doesn't look like it is. Let's see. Can we try Medlin again? Rain is also deliberating using limitless. Yeah. It's interesting. Twitter's down again. Twitter is down again. Lance Stroll this weekend? Probably not. Chris Pye. Chris O. Love Chris O and Finno in the chat. Let's go. Mike, yeah, I agree. I mean, I think it's less because it's obvious. Like, I think the poll, like, yes, it's probably going to be close to 50-50, but at the same time, I'd say a lot of people who haven't got it available have already used it in China, Miami, or Saudi Arabia. And so I'd say if everyone had limitless on the table, yes, it's like 55-45 right now in the poll, but it would probably be closer to 60 to 70, I'm guessing, just based on the sims. It is, our sims really are our source of truth. And so, yeah, we'll celebrate when Twitter works again. It means I can't post my team, but it's okay. And yeah, I guess main dictating factor for limitless is whether or not Hamilton's car is fixed. It seems likely it will be ready in time for qualifying in 70 minutes. But if it wasn't for whatever reason, I wouldn't do it. Like, if Hamilton wasn't going to be qualifying, he'd be starting at the back, then I wouldn't even consider it, because his qualifying position would obviously hurt the Ferrari constructor as well. Verstappen 2x on limitless? No, Charles Leclerc, because Charles also the big favorite for driver of the day. I was watching Rain's final thoughts video. I think Tom also talked about it in one of his videos as well. Like, Leclerc, or maybe not explicitly driver of the day, but like just around how good he is on this track, obviously. And we saw Tsunoda win driver of the day, finish 12th in Japan for his home race. Leclerc doesn't need much to get a groundswell of support in the driver of the day voting. So I think it's just another differential asset. Everyone who's not on limitless will be going Oscar Piastri, which I think is perfectly fine. But Leclerc has the highest X points, is on home soil, has topped all three practice sessions. It's just a no-brainer for me, to be honest. Leclerc for Piastri straight swap, I wouldn't, because Leclerc's going down in value most likely. So final fix, if you really want Leclerc as your 2x, I'd final fix him in if he gets pole position. No, constructors don't get driver of the day points, but Leclerc as your 2x driver will, obviously. It's a shoot, and it's, as Felix has pointed out, another regular in the chat, it's a budget driver, no negative. There's so much risk around the rookies crashing at this circuit. Hadjar, Colapinto, Bortoletto, they're all risks. -10 to get rid of Stroll, Devo's asked. Probably, I've never been a fan of taking -10s for midfield drivers. Never been a fan of taking hits for midfield drivers. I think if it enables getting in Ferrari, though, then I'd think about it. But I wouldn't be swapping out Lance Stroll for Pierre Gasly or Carlos Sainz. I don't think that is a sensible use of transfers. Particularly as well, the expected points this weekend is already going to be lower than it usually is. Like, usually the XP is above 300 for non-limitless teams. The XP is usually above or close to 200 points. This week it's down at 150 to 170. So a -10 has a much bigger hit as a percentage of your total score than it otherwise ordinarily would be. So yeah, I think a hit is harder to justify this weekend. So 50-50, 420 votes in the poll. I'd say, though, I probably should have added an option like I've already used it. But yeah, it's if Sainz has a penalty, who would take his place? Gasly. I think 1K viewers. Wow, almost 1,000 viewers. Almost 1,000 viewers. That is bonkers. That's kind of crazy. This F1 fantasy community really is something, isn't it? Any news on Hamilton? It really seems like Hamilton's car will be repaired in time. So I think that incentivizes people to go down limitless. And yeah, I've got on screen McLaren, Ferrari, Leclerc 2x, triple McLaren, triple Ferrari, and Verstappen are my top 7 assets. Gasly or Tsunoda? Gasly. Tsunoda or Albon? Limitless with 3 drivers going down in price. It's a tricky one. It's a tricky one because I think the delta's there. The thing is, the delta's really... I don't know if we'll ever have a weekend where the delta's quite like this. That's the problem. And so you want to obviously think about in future weekends, yes, can I set a team up in the future for Spa or Hungary? And yes, I might have 7 or 6 budget rises instead of 4 or 5, but the points delta going to be as good? Sorry, I think Mayank. I'll talk about Williams right now because I do think you asked that question. I forgot to talk about it. So Williams is a tricky one for me. And this is specifically for people that don't have Limitless available or are choosing not to use it. So I think Williams at the moment, and probably for the next few weeks, given there's some degree of legacy, I don't even know the right word, but the sims that Ryder uses for his point simulations is kind of geared over a trailing X number of week average. And so Williams, I think, particularly at a track like Monaco, Sainz and Albon, both excellent qualifiers. Sainz has had 3 P6 results in qualifying in a row. They've had the maximum 10 teamwork points for the last 2 weekends in the row, the constructor. And so I think this 16 points is pretty conservative. I'd argue Albon and Sainz are probably a bit further up. And I think the points projections for Williams it should be higher as well because they're great qualifiers. Kimi, on the other hand, has looked a bit mixed lately, and Mercedes have not looked good in all 3 practice sessions this weekend. If Carlos and Alex are within the top 5 to top 7 in qualifying, they will outscore Mercedes this weekend. I guarantee it. Now, it's a qualifying track. We all know this. So Williams are very underweight, I think, in the simulations. I'd have them, if I could, I guess I can override it, but I'd have them at 25 minimum, and I'd probably have, like, George is carrying this constructor score here. Like, if it was someone, take George out because he's an excellent driver, great qualifier, outperform that car. If you put Albon into that Mercedes, I don't think their XP is going to be nearly as high as what it would be if George was in there. So I think Williams, great budget building option as well. They're going to go up 0.6 or close to it. There's a very high chance of that happening. And Mercedes won't get the max rise almost certainly. So I think Williams, for budget and for points, if they put in 2 good qualifying results, Williams clears Mercedes in my opinion. No penalty on Sainz. Thank you for the updates, everyone. Again, Twitter is down. So I don't have, at least as far as I can tell, I'm still not getting notifications coming through. And I think, Oh, hang on. There we go. Notifications. No further action for Colapinto. No further action. This is Sainz's assessment. Car 55 overtook 43. Colapinto, no further action. So Sainz, as everyone's correctly pointed out, Sainz clears. Colapinto's clear. I think we're fine. So back to Limitless. It's lot to get through. No penalty. I just want to make sure I've not missed any other questions. Talked about Williams. Would you swap Williams? Would you swap Mercedes for Williams with -10? No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't swap Mercedes for Williams. I'd only take a hit for Ferrari of the constructors. Swap Behrman, yes. Albon or Gasly. Oh, probably Gasly. I'm missing the race tomorrow. We'll be working 8 to 8, but looking at free practice, you're telling me there's a chance. Good reference to Dumb and Dumber. Watch Ferrari ruin our weekends, 100%. I've had too much team success for 1 week of the teams I support. I think Spurs used up all my supporting success with that Europa League win during the week. So ready to be disappointed with Ferrari today. But no, I think Ferrari will do well. Do we think risky McLaren McLaren or Ferrari? I'd probably go. I think I'd still probably go McLaren just because they're a transfer. McLaren are a transfer back into your team. If you get rid of them this weekend, McLaren are 100% coming back into your team in Spain. It's going to be a much better track for them. I mean, McLaren is still very good here. And I don't see McLaren falling off a cliff with the technical directive. Hamilton's car will be fine. Sainz is fine. Why limitless on a no sprint race? Marta is asking. Marta, it's the Delta. It's 130 odd points between a limitless and a non-limitless team. You don't get that anywhere else on the calendar. So Monaco, Albon, Sonoda, Albon, Manasvi, Sanjita, Oscar, Sonoda, Colapinto, Gasly, Bortoletto, Williams, and McLaren, limitless, good. Yes, Sanjita, I think that's a great limitless team. -10 for Mercedes, Albon, Hadjar, for Ferrari, Sainz, Gasly, or no penalty for Williams, Gasly. I go Ferrari, Ryan. I go for the Ferrari -10 for sure. Leclerc instead of Piastri feels right. It does, but I think A, Piastri is a transfer back into your team, Callum, and B, Leclerc will go down in value. I think Leclerc is a great final fix option. And does final fix count as an extra transfer? No. No, not a -10. Count C Law, you're not going to stop giving me grief over Spurs winning a trophy, are you, mate? What to do with Norris, Colapinto, Bortoletto, Hadjar? For what it's worth, I'm probably like 80 to 90% limitless now. I just think the Delta is too good not to. The Delta is way too good not to. I'm pretty certain on limitless right now. There'd need to be some big news in the next 60 minutes for me to change my point of view on it. Ferrari and Hulkenberg with no budget left, or Williams, Gasly with budget for final fix available for Norris or Verstappen. I wouldn't keep final fix available for Norris or Verstappen. Leclerc's less than Piastri, so just don't put aside budget. Ewan had the meme of the week on his channel, on his Twitter page. If you know, you know. Hey Rob, what do you think of tanking 0 budget gains for going limitless? If I go no limitless, I'd probably gain 1 million. It's a low gaining week though. That's the thing. Yes, you want to have your team set up for budget gain, but it feels like everyone doesn't gain a lot this weekend anyway. 2 times pit stops. Shane, how are you, mate? Thank you for coming through. There'll be carnage for sure, man. No limitless for me, but I think Gasly or Albon definitely qualifies high. What do you think about a Sauber build with Leclerc, Piastri, Albon? Wouldn't be going near Sauber this week. Definitely not at a low overtaking track. Claudio, I've got your same team and enough budget to stretch to Ferrari. Would you use the last swap for anyone else? Probably not. Ferrari is probably a priority transfer for everyone this week. Final fix, Albon for Leclerc, so I end up with Piastri, Leclerc. Yeah, but that means, Edo, does that mean you got Williams Constructor? If you got Williams Constructor, I think that's fine. Come on, you Spurs. Sainz or Gasly? Gasly. Does final fix driver you lose value? So final fix, how that works is you get, so let's say we start with this team here. Current team, McLaren, Mercedes, Piastri. Let's just say I run with this team into the deadline. I'm not going to, but let's just for argument's sake say that. I get to qualifying. I want to take Piastri out of my team. I swap in Leclerc for Piastri. I get in the race. Sorry, we'll start from qualifying. I get Piastri's qualifying points, and then I take him out for Charles Leclerc. I get Charles Leclerc's race points, and then when teams unlock at the end of the weekend, I get Oscar Piastri's change in value. So you only get the race points from the driver you final fix in. You cannot use that on a constructor. Thank you, Shane, mate. Thank you for the love. Sorry, Jeremy. I think I genuinely think I've missed a few questions in the chat. So keep pinging me in the chat if I've missed your question, because Jeremy, I know, mate, you asked me the same before. I have the same team as you. I can get to Ferrari with Albon, Sainz, but I'm really starved. I thought you had more budget than I did, mate. I know you're crushing in the ranks. So what do you think of Mercedes, Williams, Hadjar, anyone under 14.3? Jeremy, would you back Albon? Because you could get Albon, right? Albon Williams. If you can back a Williams qualifying masterclass, I honestly have more stock. Like, again, F1 Fantasy Tools, the GOATs. And the question around what website am I using? F1FantasyTools.com. No chance Albon and Sainz have 4 points this weekend. I think they're both Q3 merchants. I'd have them on par with Antonelli. I think the sims are just geared towards overtakes and placement. But Williams, if you qualify well, Williams will get that same placement. Rain is going limitless. Yeah, I think I am too, Peter. I think I am too. Bernardo, how are you, mate? How are you? I hope you have a great weekend too, brother. Hadjar out? Yeah, I'd take Hadjar out. Is limitless good? Ricardo's asking. Piastri, Russell, Hadjar, Bortoletto, yeah. Anyone with a Williams constructor, this feels like a great time to go limitless because you're getting that 0.6 increase. Rain's going limitless. Yeah, it feels like I am too. Albon over Sonoda, Luca. Would you rank the best mid-tier drivers? Alvaro, if you watch my final thoughts, I have an asset tier ranking for every driver and every constructor. It's about a 2-minute watch. So if you've got 2 minutes in the next 56, I'd check my final thoughts video out. Count C Law, what do you think of McLaren and Mercedes to Ferrari Red Bull? I don't know, man. I think McLaren is a hold because they'll be good again next week. I don't like the sims are equal. I think Leclerc clears at the moment, but I think McLaren are a transfer back into your team, and I think transfers, if you've not got wildcard, transfers are at a premium. I don't know, we have the tools on, but it's nice to have an option. Rain is 2x Leclerc. Yeah, I will be too, Peter. I will be too. What's my rank? It's 65k, but if I use Limitless, it'll probably jump up a little bit. Best Albon replacement, any price under Albon's price, probably Gasly. Yeah. How are you on the stream metrics? 950 legends of you, 239 likes. Let's get that up to 300. Let's get that up to 300 by the end of the stream. Actually, I don't need that. Almost 1,000 viewers. Yeah, this stream is popping off. We've had 3,500 viewers over the course of the last 45 minutes. So you guys are absolute legends. I mean, the community itself, I'll say it every stream. F1 Fantasy community is probably one of the most supportive, engaged communities I've come across in my short life. So, yeah, lots to think about. Sorry, just checking. I'm not missing anything. Is Twitter? I think Twitter is up. Twitter is up. Oh, it's down and then it's up. Why are people selling Albon? Because I think it's not because he's a bad driver. I just think Albon, unless you have Williams, it's hard to enable the likes of Gasly and other premium assets. I think Albon's great though. I mean, Jeremy's going 3 Williams assets. That's bold, brother. That's bold. I think great for budget building. It's just, to get Ferrari, Albon is the necessary sacrifice. That's the problem. Olaf has asked, Hulk and Hadjar or Gasly and Alonso? Gasly and Alonso. Ross Wheeler, I have Piastri, Hadjar, Albon, Colapinto, Bortoleto, McLaren, Mercedes, team budget 111. Should I limitless, mate? Who's not the best? I think if I had that team, I do have that team. Ross, I have that team and I'm limitlessing. So I think that's hopefully the answer. If not, then best budget rises at Gasly and Gasly, Hulkenberg, Colapinto, probably the safest houses this week. Bortoleto or Lawson, Bortoleto. Hadjar to signs from -10. Probably not. I wouldn't be going near Lawson. Axis, I think Taylor asked the same question and Mike answered that. Thank you, Shane. Good luck, brother. Bortoleto or Lawson, Bortoleto answered that. I wouldn't be using no negative. I'd be using Final Fix. What else have we got? Is Lawson a risk over Russell? What's that supposed to mean? They're like 2 different assets. Of course he is. Lawson's a huge risk. Huge risk. No overtaking in Monaco if you're 2x driver. Bins it in quali, it's going to screw your limitless team. Yes, I know. It's a necessary risk. And look, I don't really have a high bar for limitless because every time I've used it, it's gone to the dogs. Limitless in Coda 2 years ago, the Leclerc and Hamilton disqualifications. Limitless in Miami last year, Norris crashed. It's never going to be optimal. And it's Monaco. It's super risky. But again, I can't see a better weekend where the delta is so significant. It's very rarely over 100. And we've got 130. 130 delta is pretty substantial. So, yeah, 940 people in the stream. LFG. Yeah, there's just not too many other opportunities where I'd go for it. Fantasy Frenzy. Should I limitless with Alpine and Williams? Well, it depends on Piastri, Gasly, Stroll, Yuki, Albon, Alpine, Williams. Yeah, I would. Agreed, Felix. I wouldn't be taking minus 10s this week unless it's a premium constructor or a premium driver. Still not healed from China, feels Isaac. People in China got really burnt. I'm likely going limitless. It's also, I just want to get rid of the chip, and I also have start a poll. Use limitless. Yes. No. Will use Monaco. No. Will use Hungary, Spa, etc. I'll update the poll from before, just around limitless. To activate limitless, all you have to do is this one. All you have to do is hit that, and then it pick the chip that comes up. Delta Asaf is just the difference between the non-limitless and the limitless teams. So back on the team calculator, the delta between this team and this team is 134 points. Gasly or Sainz? Gasly. I think that answers John and Jeffrey's question this weekend. We'll break that code of curse, won't we? 190 versus 280. Delta only 90. Still worth it? Yeah, I think it's still worth it. Range using limitless. I'm using limitless. I wonder if Ewan's using limitless. It's just like F1 predict. Yep, let's do F1 predict. Is the technical directive in Spain going to make Mercedes to Red Bull a good thought? Potentially. That's why I got wildcard, because I got wildcard, so I can build out a team with a wildcard if I need to take hits. Do I use limitless? Yeah, maybe. Already made my changes. You convinced me. There's no penalty for this. No penalty for using limitless. No. Sugar. Screen had a moment. Drop Bortoletto or Colapinto for Gasly. I dropped Bortoletto. Rain's already locked in limitless. Oh, wow. Okay. Rain's already locked in limitless. Good on him. Limitless to ex-driver, Leclerc. Kushmani. Yeah, he's a gun. If you have 3 transfers and use limitless, you'll only have 2 after you use limitless. All right, let's do some F1 predict. Hamilton for the 5th driver. Make your prediction. Predict the podium for the Monaco Grand Prix. I will go Charles, Lando, Max. Next. Who will take pole position? Charles. And also, look at the odds. They've obviously built out these odds before they saw free practice. Because the points that Charles should be the favourite for pole position, the odds are too good. You got to go all in on Ferrari this week. Sonoda or Gasly? Can you do a transfer before limitless? Yeah, I'll do that, Henry. If you do transfers before limitless, your transfers will reset. So it won't, obviously, he'll qualify highest Hadjar. How far will Franco Colapinto, not Q1, not Q3, it'll be Q1. Obi, I think if you want to save your limitless for a bit longer, then I think it's got to be Spa or Budapest. I'd probably go Budapest just because it's lowish overtaking Monaco without walls, I think it's called. Who will set the fastest pit stop of the race? Ferrari. Let's do it. Albon or Gasly? I think I've answered that one a few times. Gasly this week. Will we see a new Monaco GP winner? No. No, we can't. I think that question's been asked a couple of times. If you activate limitless, if you make transfers and then activate Limitless to game the system, the transfers that you made won't appear in your team after you after your team unlocks. Yeah, Franco Colapinto will progress in qualifying Q1. Yeah. We will see. No, we won't see a new Monaco GP winner. Forza Ferrari. Forza Ferrari. I'll be rooting for my boy Charles. What's your Limitless team, Matt? It is in the bottom left hand of the screen. I'm going all in on Ferrari. All in on Ferrari. Who will finish the race ahead? Hang on. There's like half the... Who's up here? Is this Kimi? Oh, it's got to be the rookies, right? I can't select Kimi. No, I can. Will we see 20 cars complete the first lap of the race? Yes. How many times will a red flag be used during Sundays under 1.5? I really hope it's a clean race. Who will be ahead in the team standings after the race? Let's go Aston Martin. Can I go back? Let's apply the 2x chip to my boy Charles. Okay. Okay, what's doing in the chat? I haven't paid attention to that since doing these F1 predicts. Worth using no negative? Nah, I'd save it. Would you Limitless with Ocon on your team? Maybe. I have had the Hadjar and Stroll on my team. Limitless, yes or no? Well, what's Stroll's threshold? 3? Yeah, I'd Limitless with Stroll in your team. Are we going Limitless? Yes, we are going Limitless. I just haven't activated it yet. Have I? Oh, let me lock in these. Okay, prediction submitted. We don't need to worry about that anymore. Okay, let's go back up. A few more questions I definitely missed out on answering. Thoughts of bringing Albon in for my 5th driver in Limitless just to give a differential. It won't be a differential though, because some non-Limitless teams will have Albon. I just, like, if you're on Limitless, why not go for the best teams? Like, why not go for the best teams? So I obviously can't lock in my Limitless team here yet, but it would look something like Charles, Lewis, Lando, Maximilian. Yeah, this would be it. And then McLaren, Ferrari, and Oscar. 90 is still a decent delta, I think. Have we looked at the weather yet? Yeah, Isaac, we looked at it probably 30 minutes ago. There's no rain on the forecast. Yeah, there's definitely no reason. Is there any reason not to lock now? If I had to be somewhere in the next 5 minutes, I'd lock in now. But I have got 45 more minutes to kill until the deadline. And I'm waiting for any news, like last minute news. Like, for example, the reason why, if you can, wait until you get to... Sorry, I'm trying to... What am I going... Keep my team on screen here. Wrong screen. The reason I try and leave locking in until the last minute is because you will get last minute news. You'll get late news. If I look at Miami as such a perfect example of that. For those people that were either on this deadline stream or they were locked in an hour before qualifying, or sprint race, I should say, in Miami, we saw Leclerc crash on the way to the grid. That motivated me. If you watch my stream from Miami back, that was the deciding factor for me to go no negative. If I didn't go no negative, or if I wasn't online or paying attention to what was happening on track in the lead up to lights out for the sprint race, I probably wouldn't have used no negative. And as a result, I probably would have then got hit with the 3 DNFs my team had that weekend. And pole. And so for that reason, staying as engaged as possible while your team is still in flux. Yes, I mean, I think it's perfectly fine to have a decision before the deadline, an hour out or longer than that. And for me personally, more often than not, I'll already have my mind made up before the stream starts. This, I was probably 60-40 before the stream, and I think going through the numbers and the sims on F1 Fantasy Tools has probably pushed me over the edge to go down Limitless. So you can see here, like, this screen has pretty much dominated most of this video so far. So for that reason, being engaged and being online is why there's, and obviously paying attention to any updates that come through within the last hour of the deadline means you can react to those news headlines as they come to light. So if, for instance, you guys watching this have to be somewhere in the next 30 minutes, you can't be there when the deadline locks, then there's absolutely nothing wrong with locking in your team now. But I don't really have a need to lock in right now. I can wait 30 more minutes and then make the same decision. And yeah, Paul pointed out, if you were on my Miami deadline stream, I was from about the last 20 or 30 minutes, you go back to the last 20 minutes, 30 minutes of that stream, the moment you see the news come through in my live chat of Leclerc crashing on the way to the grid, I think the chat lost its collective mind for about 10 minutes. And it was probably the most chaotic last 30 minutes of any deadline stream I've ever had. So it was pretty funny, I'll be honest. This stream has had its own, unique, put it this way, reactions to different things in the last hour and a half or hour and a bit. But I think for right now, there's no need for me to lock in. And that's why, like, Hamilton's crashed in FP3. There's going to be news, no doubt, in the next 30 minutes on whether or not he'll be participating in sprint, in qualifying. But there's still questions. There's still questions on it. I'm going to bring up on my phone, like, the F1 TV stream. I don't think that starts for another 9 minutes, but I'll just have that on mute so I can... Oh, no. It's already started. Never mind. Oh, no, it hasn't. It will begin shortly. I'm just going to prop that up there like a good boy. And don't ever say that again, Rob. It sounds so sus. Sorry. Just making sure it's there out of the way. And hopefully by then we will have an update on Hamilton. But news generally seems pretty positive that Hamilton will be ready. Is Leclerc the 2X on Limitless? Yeah, he will be. Mazuris, Michael, yeah, exactly. The Miami stream was pretty funny. It was pretty funny, I will say. Okay, well, that's not working. Get back to a few more questions in the chat. I have triple hash. Should I take a penalty to take them all out? Do you have wildcard, Drakowson? If not, I'd take a -10. I'd get rid of Haas. Haas's time in the sun has ended. And yeah, I mean, for me personally, I will lock in my team probably at 9:45 where I am, 15 minutes before the deadline. So it'll be like 2:45 UK time. That's when I'll lock in my team. Just in the off chance there's a risk of, like, the website crashing or something. Am I going Limitless? Yes, I am going Limitless Sim. Hamilton, not Russell? Yeah, I've got to play the... Okay, put it this way. If there's news before the deadline that Hamilton is not participating in qualifying, I'm not going to activate the Limitless. Vex, can you put your question in the chat, please? Again, I can't see it. I know you've asked to have a question answered, but I can't see your question in the chat, so I'm not able to answer it if it's not there. Can you please show the budget builder page of the drivers and constructors? This is it. I'd rather have my team on the team calculator so people can see what I want to do for Limitless. But all you can do, forget who asked that question. There's got to be a better way of me having the chat box. If you want to look at the budget builder, it's f1fantasytools.com/budget-builder. Vex is vexed. I'm not sure what that... Yeah. X is back. Awesome. Okay. Lawson or Bortoletto, Taylor? I'd go Bortoletto. Mike, I'm assuming you've got Medlin's notifications turned on, because I do. And having that, I think, yeah, there was a question or a great comment by someone who said, you know, having the ability to react to news for DFS or other fantasy sports, or whatever it might be, it just means, yeah, having that live reaction time to obviously take into account any last minute news is huge, a huge differential. And yeah, Christopher, no better week for Limitless. Renan, Hamilton or Russell? Hamilton, and I'd go Leclerc on the 2X. Did you change your non-Limitless team at all? Well, I can't if I'm going Limitless, Clar, but I can. I mean, I'll show you. I'll. It's Twitter, yeah. Twitter X, Twitter. I don't think it minds. Chris Post. All right, what do we got here? All right, Metas. Let's see, what's he got? I think that's the post Mike's alluding to. There we go. This is the Hamilton news. Ferrari explains it's changed the nose, front wing, and right front suspension, plus the entire rear on his car after FP3. The rear end changes because it's quicker than just doing the right rear suspension in isolation. I'd answer Vex's question. He or she has not posted. Sorry, there we go. There's the question. Piastri, Russell, Hadjar, Colapinto, Bortoleto, McLaren, Williams 3.5 in the bank. What is your thoughts? I could always wildcard and change completely, or go straight from Williams to Ferrari, Russell to Albon, or Williams to Red Bull and Russell to Sonoda. All right, Vex. Let's go. You've asked 3 times. I'll give you an answer. Everyone in the chat for 30 seconds can see me give you a dedicated response to your question. I think straight Williams to Ferrari and Russell to Albon. Yeah, I think that, Vex. I think you've just got to take advantage of Ferrari right now. Like, they are in the hot seat. They look good. Leclerc has a chance of also banking the fastest lap. I think that's another thing. He's looked so convincingly dominant in free practice in all 3 sessions that on any tyre compound, I can see Leclerc banking fastest lap around here. So that goes into the constructor. He's obviously, if you're on Limitless, he'll get driver of the day if he wins. And yeah, like, why not? Why not? Yeah, I'd go Williams, Ferrari, Russell, Albon, Vex. Evan asked, Piastri, Hadjar, Colapinto, Bortoleto, Behrman, Mercedes, McLaren, 0 in the bank, 3 transfers. Use transfers or Limitless? Colapinto, Bortoleto, Behrman. I mean, Behrman will drop in price, Evan. That's the thing. If you want to set your team up later, thoughts on making a Discord server? I might count T-Law. I'd go Limitless. I think, honestly, unless you've got 4 assets falling in value, I just think the opportunity and the upside still seems like it just seems like there's not many better opportunities. Hamilton is out? No, Hamilton's in. This is just what they've changed to his car. Vex, nothing but love. Just wanted to make sure we answer your question, my friend. I don't know, why is Twitter and X so temperamental today and this week? It's been tragic. Howie for metrics. We got 978 concurrent viewers, 311 likes. Amazing, absolutely amazing group of people. Hamilton will be in my Limitless team almost certainly. And yeah, like County Law, I definitely do a Discord probably next season. I feel like there's no time better than the present, right? We'll see. I just think there's probably 1,000 concurrent viewers. We just crossed 1,000 concurrent viewers for the first time in the channel's history for a live stream. 1,021 concurrent viewers. This is unbelievable. Sorry, I'm just taken aback and so humbled by this. This is incredible. 1,021 concurrent viewers and 322 likes. You guys are amazing. Hadjar or Alonso? Ahmed's asking. I'd go Hadjar. I think he's Hadjar this week, Ahmed, and then maybe Alonso the following. Alonso Spain is going to be 4.5. Yeah, wow. I'm getting chills. This is pretty cool. 1,000 concurrent viewers. Thank you guys. That's really kind. This is really cool. Franco over Bortoleto, Drakowson, Limitless with Ocon, I think is fine in your team. Derpy Cake. Come on, you Spurs, Evan. Get in there, Tottenham. I think the Hamilton car, Jay Bush, is that he's fine to race. Blame Elon. Be careful you don't get banned. Thank you, Carl. You're very kind. Appreciate it. Hamilton for Limitless for sure. Legends. All of you legends. Thank you for all the love. That's really very, very cool. Hit the like button. It's free. It is. It's very free. Thank you, guys. Alonso or Hulkenberg. Thank you, Felix. Thank you, Michael. Plaziz, Alonso or Hulkenberg? I go Hulkenberg this week. 30 minutes, get those teams ready. The F1 TV broadcast is about to start. Thank you, Kieran. Much love, my man. Keep Hadjar or sub for Hulkenberg Bortoletto? I'd go Hulkenberg. Why not? Relegation battle. I think count. I gotta follow you, man. Who's your Premier League team? Because I feel like you give me so much stick for going for the Spurs, but I feel like you could be. There you go. FPL team. Who wants to see my FPL team? It's pretty bad. I won't be on my FPL team for more than about a minute, but I know there's quite a few people that play the Prem. This is my rank's not good. My rank in the EPL is not good. It's like 324. That's my team for this week. I'm going to put that on the screen for all of about 2 seconds. Then we'll go back to F1 Fantasy. I know there's a lot of FPL fans in the chat too. So yeah, maybe one day I'll do an FPL stream. Probably won't. I'm going limitless. Burnley. Okay. Then I think I get to have a one up. Pray for limitless. I think, yeah, limitless. I'm like 99% locked in, ladies and gentlemen. 99% locked in on limitless. Top team on the team calculator is where I'm going. Can you do transfers if you go limitless? Yeah, I mean, you can't because they'll reverse, but but they will naturally, for limitless, reset or unlock. I guess I've said it 3 or 4 times. It'll be if you make transfers and activate limitless, those transfers won't go through next season. And Postecoglou to Ferrari next season. No, I like Fred. Let's see the FPL team. Goodness me. Rain and Ewan are much better FPL players than I am. That's for sure. It's casual. Do an FPL stream next season. Pre-race show has started. I can see it on my muted broadcast on my phone right below the monitor. Champions of Europe. You'll never say that, Burnley. I know, mate. I know, Count. I know. It's all bands. Love that. From South Africa, we want F1 to come here. Floris, yeah, no, imagine, I'd love to see a race in South Africa. Kyalami would be so great for a race there. Vex is back for more questions. One more question. It's not worth a -10 to get rid of Hadjar. I don't think I'd be taking -10s for midfield drivers, just because -10 this week's going to count more to a percentage of your total score than it would on most other weekends. And I wouldn't be doing it for midfield drivers. Yeah, Felix hit the nail on the head. Is it best to wait for a sprint weekend for Limitless? Not necessarily, because I'm going down Limitless this weekend. Sonoda, Postecoglou would nearly get Ferrari relegated. Wouldn't that be cool though? If God, imagine if Ange was the team principal of Ferrari. If there was like the Premier League, if in Formula One you had a relegation tier system, so like F2 teams could have, like the winner of F2 could move up to F1 and vice versa. It wouldn't obviously work because the money is the money is like crazy different between F1 and F2 compared to football, but it would be bizarre if there was a relegation system in Formula One. Is Twitter down again? I'm pretty sure it's up. It's working for me. Back to the chat. 1,000 viewers, 389 likes on the stream. You guys are incredible. Yeah, I think a few people are going limitless this weekend. Love to see it. Kyalami would be great though for Formula One. Stephanie's team is Norris, Piastri, Behrman, Bortoletto, Hadjar, Mercedes, Haas. I'd go wildcard Stephanie. I think if you can wildcard into like a McLaren Ferrari this week with Piastri, I think that sets you up nicely for the next few weeks. Zach's asking, Oscar, Lawson, Bortoletto, Behrman, Hadjar, McLaren, Mercedes. Should I go limitless? Likely 4 drivers dropping in value. No, only Lawson and Hadjar would drop. Oh, and Behrman. That's tough. Oh, plus Mercedes too. Zach, that's a tough one, man. It's tough because with limitless, like I don't think there's Fantasy Premier League Hub, a Fantasy Premier League channel. That's funny. I think it's tough. I talked about this earlier, Zach. It's I guess, are you prepared to accept a little drop in your team value, but make the most of this big delta, this 120 point delta that we just won't have at any other circuit this year? It's tough. It's a decision I can't really make myself. I'm going for, obviously, I'm accepting that Hadjar and Mercedes will drop in value, but I think personally the upside with the delta is worth it. Hamilton or Russell for Limitless? Hamilton. Promote Invicta to F1. That would be funny. They wouldn't stand a chance. Any vibe on 3X Leclerc? No, wouldn't do it. F1 driver relegation would be interesting, though. That would be interesting. Williams, I think Williams is great, but Sainz is clear. Zhao. Drop that like, guys. Thank you, Michael. One of the OGs. No penalty for Sainz. DRS boost Piastri, but have final fix ready. If you're not Limitless, I wouldn't be bringing in Leclerc. He's only a final fix or a Limitless option. Should I swap Sainz Hadjar to Albon Gasly on my non-Limitless team? Yeah, I'd get Albon and Gasly for sure, Annika. What do you think of RB and Hulkenberg or Ferrari and Hadjar Alonso? I'd go Ferrari, Hadjar Alonso. Rohan, Sainz or Gasly? Gasly. Limitless with a current team of Piastri, Albon, Colapinto, Hadjar, Ocon, Mercedes, and McLaren, Williams. Yeah, James, I'd 100% go Limitless if you've got Williams as a constructor from last week. Wouldn't Leclerc get 55 points with making the Delta better? Yeah, if he had fastest lap, for sure. Yeah. If he gets fastest lap and driver of the day and pole position, if Leclerc hits the Grand Slam, Leclerc on 2X could absolutely haul. Limitless versus Final Fix, I think Limitless is better. Michael doing the absolute work for the community, giving us an update on F1 TV. Jolly and Palmer said the work on Lewis's car, or maybe that's the Sky Sports broadcast. Sorry. Oh, Ali's also said the same thing. Yeah, so they're convinced he'll start. Yeah, I'm not worried about Hamilton. I'll be going Limitless. I'll probably lock my team in the next. Probably lock my team in the next 5 to 10 minutes. Who are you locking in? Limitless, team on the bottom left. Hamilton will make it. I'm confident Hamilton will make it. 1,000 viewers, 400 likes, almost 6,000 views across the last hour and a bit. Amazing. If you're going Limitless, you have to go Leclerc DRS boost. Like, don't go Piastri because everyone will have Piastri. If everyone on non-Limitless will go Piastri. If I wasn't going Limitless this weekend, I would 100% going Piastri 2X. Yeah, Tom, the F1 fantasy godfather, is going Limitless. He's in the chat. Daniels has locked it in too. I think there's quite a few people in the chat thinking about it this week. Don't 3X. Yeah, Tiamote's on the money there. Save 3X for a sprint later in the year. Lewis Munoz has asked, Albon to Tsunoda -10, yes or no? No. I'd hold Albon, mate. You go Limitless? I'm going Limitless. I just haven't locked my team in yet. And also, this is on screen here. I haven't activated the chip yet because I'm still waiting for any last minute news. Excuse me. Verstappen 2X Limitless? Nah, Leclerc. Max is probably my third favorite option on Limitless after Leclerc and Lando Norris. Leaps didn't Limitless because he used it in Saudi Arabia, Jeremy. I was speaking to Porsche F1 the other day, who finished second in the world last year, and he was of the view, much like I have been all week, it's very risky, but the delta is there like no other circuits had. And yes, I'm accepting of the fact it's risky. I'm very cognizant of that, and I think that's something I obviously have to come to terms with if it goes belly up. But at the same time, I genuinely think, as I said before, even if there was one DNF, there's a 100-point delta. So even if there was one DNF, I pray to God that doesn't happen. But it would be like I'm not going to put that into the universe, put it that way. I wouldn't be using Final Fix on a driver that's not your 2X in Monaco. I think I'm guessing Tom's probably in the same camp. I don't know Tom's Limitless team, but I'm guessing it would be triple McLaren, Max, at least double Ferrari. I think the only slot that people are not sure about is Hamilton or Russell. The fact that Hamilton looks good for the race and the qualifying at least is enough to suggest that for me it's worth the difference. No negative chip, I'd save no negative. No rain for qualifying expected. I wouldn't, AB Mose wouldn't be final fixing. I wouldn't be final fixing unless it's Piastri out, Leclerc in. Thank you, Nabadip. Come on, you Spurs. Come on, you Spurs. Anders, you haven't missed a whole lot, but you've kind of missed a lot too. Ultimately, if you've just joined in the last, because we've got quite a few viewers, almost over 1,050, what we've talked about in the last hour and a half. I'm going Limitless, triple McLaren, triple Ferrari, Max Verstappen with Leclerc on the 2X. I think if you've got Williams as your constructor from last week, it becomes an option to go Limitless this week. I think I'd rate Williams higher than Mercedes as a constructor this week. I think if you're not non-Limitless team this week, you have to get in Ferrari constructor. And I would, if you've got a non-Limitless team, keep Piastri, but keep Final Fix open to bring in Leclerc if Piastri doesn't look great in qualifying. In a nutshell. Lucas, if you swap Ferrari in and take out Albon, I'd bring in Gasly probably. Save no negative. Why not Limitless on a sprint weekend? I've explained that enough. The delta here is just too good at the moment. Oliver, 105.9. I think you should budget build. Oliver, maybe, please don't make me moderate you. Please don't make me moderate you. I will answer the question, but don't put it in the chat 17 times, please. I'll answer that. If you've got $105.9 million budget, Oliver, I would get McLaren and Williams in and use those budget building assets on f1fantasytools.com as the focus for how you build out your team budget. So Williams qualifying, not Williams qualifying, McLaren, Williams, a constructor, Piastri, and then any assets that are likely to rise. What's better, Limitless chip or Final Fix chip? Since it's not... We looked at the forecast earlier. I don't think... We'll go back to it. I'm going to lock my team in 5 minutes as well, for what it's worth. Okay. How do we zoom in? There's no rain in the forecast. No rain. There's no rain. I think we're good. You got it, Oliver. You got it, mate. Almost 1,100 concurrent viewers. This is bonkers. Absolutely bonkers. You can only apply Final Fix after qualifying. That's right, Kimichi. What's your team going into this week? It'll be Limitless. William, it will be Limitless. Would you pick Hadjar or Alonso? Probably Alonso. Probably Did I say Hadjar earlier? I'd probably go Alonso, but not for a hit, obviously. Gasly and Sainz or Albon and Hulkenberg for this week? Gasly and Sainz. Oh no, Chad. Chad, do me dirty like that. From that map, I go no negative in Zandvoort. Yeah, I think I'll activate the chip. I think we've got let me just do one more once over of Medland. Just make sure everything's in order. On the F1 TV stream, I've just got Alex Jakes talking. So there doesn't look to be much new news. Twitter is down again, so I probably won't be able to post my team before the deadline, but I will lock it in now. 1,100 concurrent viewers. This is kind of wild. This is pretty wild. Thank you, Grizz. Oh, William. Yeah, my team last week is this one here. Okay. All right. Time to lock in. Pick me. Gina, I think Limitless. My recommended Limitless team is bottom left. 1,100 concurrent viewers. 450 likes. Luke, how are you, mate? Great to have you back. Twitter is down, but the vibes are up. I think it's time to lock in Limitless. Who's with me? Sorry, that was a bit loud. Okay. Okie dokie. 1,100 people in the chat about to get Ferrari'd. Hey, look. I know Ferrari have their moments. And I'm trying to be optimistic that things will be fine. Look, I guess we obviously can't predict the future. Like you can be a hindsight merchant and say at the end of a weekend, once your DNFs happen, that you could have done a different approach. But at this point in time, for me, Ferrari and McLaren triple ups are objectively the best options for Limitless. Yes, there is some risk, but the risk for me is offset by the delta, the points you can gain on the non-Limitless teams this weekend. Throw in the fact that the midfield and budget drivers look pretty unconvincing around this track. I think we're locking in. 15 minutes to go. Ewan has locked in Limitless. Vivian has locked in Limitless. Renan, I think, looks like he's about to lock in Limitless. Who else looks like Miguel is about to lock in Limitless. Ivan might. Mark has locked in his Team 1 Limitless. I think the Sangria worked for Ewan. Ewan's probably 3 to 4 Sangria deep and having an absolute field day with his Limitless. Christopher has locked in Limitless. I am stupid. Yeah, Q, I am stupid. Hussein, Connor have also locked in Limitless. We love to see it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. Oh, I'm getting chills. I'm kind of excited. Let me get some symmetry up in here. Put Oscar there. Put Ferrari there. James is locked in. Diego's locked in. Renan, I think might. Evan, I think you got to go Charles. You've got to play the upside on Limitless. I don't think it makes sense to go conservative on Limitless when it's such a differential chip. So what's the normal delta on a Limitless weekend? It's probably about 60 to 80 points, I would argue. 60 to 80 points. So, yeah. Oh, we don't want that one. Yeah, this is the team. Hamilton's car is fixed. All right. Chad's absolutely... one of my mates in my F1 fantasy group chat for my friends back home is absolutely roasting me for going Limitless, but I think it's the play. Is Albon an option with Limitless? Hello there? Probably not. Chris, give me 5 minutes. Limitless is locked. 12 minutes. Get those teams locked in. Red Bull or Ferrari? Ferrari. No, I've changed it. 2X's on Leclerc now. 2X's on Leclerc. I've used Limitless on 3 different teams on 3 different races this week or this year. I've used one this week in Monaco. I used one in Miami, and then I think I used one in Saudi Arabia. I think, yeah. Best non-limitless team. Almost at 500 likes. Thank you. Pretty incredible stream. Definitely, just when I think like F1 Fantasy is slowly decreasing because engagement naturally drops off as the season progresses, it just comes straight back up. All right, let's lock it in. Confirmed. Ewan has locked it in. Tom has locked it in. Limitless is activated. This is the team. Leclerc is the 2x DRS boost. Thank you, Vigo. Thank you, James. Appreciate it. Really appreciate it. The hardcores never do leave though, Mike. You're so right. Twitter's back. Twitter is back, baby. All right, so that means let's get that team screenshotted, posted. Risky. It is risky. I know it will be. But I mean, I think I'm so at peace. The thing is, this season, my decision making, I feel more confident in it than I've ever been in the last few seasons of F1 Fantasy. And sure, like I'm not top 10K. I think rank will certainly go up this week. But by how much, we'll have to wait and see. Ready for the pain. I'm scared. Cue that meme of Ralph Wiggum where it's like, I'm in danger. Alrighty. Let's lock in that team. Post it on Twitter. 1,100 of you, absolute legends. The community is honestly unbelievable. Nothing short of unbelievable. I haven't even drafted my post. I'm just going to raw dog it and post it on Twitter. Tom in the chat. Gone Lec 2X. He's topped all 3 sessions. Good luck, Rob and chat. Thank you, Tom. Miguel, thanks for the update, brother. Get those teams locked in. 10 minutes until the deadline. Countdown. Subscriber count up to 87. Should I use Limitless on all your teams? I'd probably go at least one team, Yusuf. Why Hamilton over Russell? Because I prefer the Ferrari performance. Mercedes have just not looked that good this year. This week in practice. Hamilton's clear. Hamilton will be ready for the race. Hamilton will be in the race, or in qualifying, I should say. Is there a power outage in Cannes? Is there? That won't stop the cars though. It'll just stop the timing and the lights and all that. Thank you, Isaac. I mean, I'm not going to fault anyone for not... Let me be clear. Like, Limitless is not 100% a lock. Like, it's good. It's good, but it's not 100% like the undoubtedly best weekend for the best chip in the game. I think it's great. I think there's so much upside. There is risk though. Not all teams are set up for it to gain budget. I just think for me and my team, my current setup, yeah, Lucas, ease up, mate. If you keep spamming the chat, Lucas, I will block you. Is it better to take Sainz or Hulkenberg? Hulkenberg. If you keep spamming the chat, I will have to mute you. Rahul, Michael said the hardcore F1 fantasy community never leaves. Yeah, I might have to think about getting mods. Hey, great suggestion, Obi. Great suggestion. I didn't know you could put a user in a timeout, but I just tried that. Thanks, Vex. Thanks, Obi. Maybe I should think about getting mods. I should think about doing mods. Okay. I'm going to get this team up and running on Twitter. 7 minutes, get those locked in. Time to add some mods and limit post timing. Yeah, Frederick, you're right. I think after this weekend, the stream really popped off a little bit. Hey, the stream really did. So I don't think anyone expected it, but it's a... okay. 5-hour timeout. I put him in a 5-minute timeout. I'd have anyone who wants to be a mod. I don't even know what a mod is. I'm a moderator, obviously. I know what that means, but Yeah, sorry. I'm just going to fire off my team. Apologies for being antisocial. Okay, team is posted. Team is locked. Team is locked. Arriba. I'll have anyone who wants to be a mod. I think, yeah. Felix, you're an OG, man. I'd honestly have anyone. I mean, I'm not a, so your team's up. So I can just, let's just chat. We can just chat for the next 5 minutes because my team's posted. My decision is locked in. Oh, sorry. I've had the bloody meteorologist forecast on the screen for the last 5 minutes. I haven't even been paying attention. This is my team. It's locked. Sorry guys. You've been looking at Twitter for the last 5 minutes. I'm sorry. Posted team. Yeah, it's up. Sorry. Yep. All right. Last few questions for the deadline. If I make my team with Limitless now, can I go back and make more changes still? Yes. No. Your transfers will reverse. Ferrari are making Limitless a good choice. They really are. Should I avoid Signs for the potential penalty? There is no penalty for Signs. He should qualify. I think he'll be in Q3. Hardest thing is Charles over Max. For sure. Team's quick. Yep. 5-hour timeout. Guys, it's better to take Signs or Hulkenberg. Hulkenberg for value and points. Okay. Limitless, let's go. Thank you, Oliver. Thank you, Scott. Frederick, you're funny, mate. You're funny, Frederick. Hardcore boys. Thank you, JF. Good luck. Coffee or tea? I don't drink coffee or tea. I'm a bit of a... Thank you, Jeremy. Much love, my friend. Good luck, David. Team 2 and Team 3. I've already used Limitless, but I will scroll down for you. This is my Team 2. Oh, God. I didn't know I had 6 on the side. It's not too late. This is my Team 3 with Gasly. I took a hit for Gasly. The thing is, should I just... I guess this was kept. I kept 6 aside for final fix for Piastri for Team 2. And then Team 3 is kind of the no final fix route. Like just kind of have to suck it up on the chin. But this is my Team 1. Here we go. 600 still people in the chat. Let's get up to 500 likes. That would be amazing, guys. 500 likes. And I think I saw a very funny thing someone posted. I missed that in the chat. Reference to Big Ange. It's Big Ange ball, so you can keep your Pochettino, Conte, Mourinho, and even Christian Gross everywhere we go. We're loving Big Ange instead. That's very funny. McLaren to Ferrari. I wouldn't be taking McLaren out of your team. Hadjar, Lawson, or Alonso. I'd be going Hadjar. Any last questions? Get them in the chat. I will answer them with 3 minutes to go. Have you used Limitless? I've used Limitless on Teams 2 and 3 and then Team 1 this week. Signs or Gasly? Tacos or burritos? Colapinto to Signs? Potentially. Yeah, I like that. Albon or Gasly? I'm afraid of this weekend too, Bernardo. I think it's risky for sure, but I'm confident. I'm content. This is the right decision for my team. I'm content. This is... From what we know at this point in time, I'm content with the decision I made. Brant, yeah, very funny, Brant. Thank you, Anders. 2 minutes, get those teams locked in, ladies and gentlemen. 500 likes, incredible, truly incredible. What a great stream. We've had 7. This stream might outpace my first stream of the stream of the season. My first stream of the season had 8,000 viewers over the course of the 2 hours. This stream has been less than that, and we've already got almost 7,500 views over the last hour and a half. Thank you for dropping by, James. Saint, Russell or Hamilton? Adigunya, apologies if I mispronounced that. Gasly, Hulkenberg or Yuki? Gasly. Scott Rogers, why do you think Russell didn't do well in practice? He's been a solid top 3 all season. I agree. I honestly thought this would be a Mercedes track, but it's really not, or it doesn't feel like it is. I don't have a reason or an understanding of why the car doesn't look great, but Limitless or all transfers for Piastri, Science Borderletto. I'll ignore that, Obi, if you want me to. But yeah, good stream. For those of you still hanging around, great. Thank you for dropping by. It has been truly a brilliant stream. I'm here for another minute or two, but it's been a pretty incredible stream, I'll be honest. Lots of deliberation. Hopefully lots of questions answered. I know I missed a couple, so I'm sorry if I have missed your questions. I do my best to get to as many as possible, but it has been a pretty chaotic last hour and a half. It's been a chaotic last hour and a half, but you guys have honestly made my Saturday mornings all the more worth it. Hulkenberg signs Ferrari or Gasly signs Red Bull. Hulkenberg signs Ferrari. Wahong. I rate Colapinto over Bortoleto. Yeah, it's going to be nervous. No stop till Brooklyn. Why Hamilton or Russell? Well, limitless. Hamilton. All right, the team looks good. Fred finally found that potential. I think it's just a Ferrari track. It's a Leclerc track. It's not necessarily a Ferrari track, but it's a Leclerc track. Lewis changed gearbox after the crash. Nice. That's the deadline. That is it. That's the deadline. Great stream, everyone. Sean, I'll see you at Failer or Stout sometime soon. Maybe not this weekend, but certainly in the weeks to come. So yeah, I'll wrap it up. I'll let you guys get back to your Saturdays. Cars are about to exit the pit lane for qualifying. There's the green light. So good luck this weekend, guys. Again, drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. I'll be back with my team selection and final thoughts ahead of Spain. But again, what an absolute blockbuster stream that was. That was truly a banger of a stream. This and Miami, some of my favorite streams this season. So again, thank you for the patience for the late start. But lights are out, so I'll let you enjoy the broadcast. Have a great rest of your weekend, guys. Enjoy the racing, and I'll see you on the other side.